hold you in these arms. The eye of God listening in the night.
Welcome to episode 1. Here we go. Today's episode covers the author Luc Sante and Flesh, Human Flesh, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, Turkmenistan, Sonny Chirac, and the poets Wallace Stevens and Auden. So I had become a fan of Luc Sante through reading Evidence and Lowlife, and also picked up his collection, Take Me to the Water, Immersion, Baptism in Music and Photos, which is very interesting work with some great music on it. But it set me to thinking about this custom of taking people out of town and taking them down to the river. So I was thinking about Flesh not just as a thing of sanctity, but also as a sort of a path to the transcendent. And that's kind of what brought me to this song. My friend Paul Pierce is a photographer and an artist and a veteran. Here's a photo of Paul that tells you everything you need to know about Paul. Yesterday and today. When Paul got out of the service, he bought a U.S. mail truck and put a darkroom in the back and traveled around shooting photographs. And one of the places he went to was Wakulla Springs, which is where they shot Creature from the Black Lagoon. So Paul and I have talked about it. And let me start reading the correspondence. Dear Paul, have you seen The Creature Walks Among Us? They try and convert the creature to a human. They burn off his scales. He's kept in a pen on the land. He can breathe air. They even give him a shirt. It has the best ending ever. As things don't work out, he heads back to the sea. But he can't go in. He's not a creature anymore. He can't stay on land. And he can't go into the sea. They essentially made him into nothing. The movie ends with him just looking. Leo. Dear Leo, is Ruby in My Chest finished? I'm intrigued by the thought of the creature in verse. Paul. Here's some letters, some correspondence between myself and Jaime Widoft, who's a fantastic drummer and world traveler, and we were in a band together called the Gunstermakers. Here's some correspondence from when he was in Turkmenistan. Hey man, how are you? I played at the Turkmenistan Theater last night with a bunch of Turkmen musicians. Did some jazz standards with them, and then another drummer took and played a bunch of Turkmen music as I played the djembe. Hope you are well in playing and writing. Love, Jaime. Dear Jaime, cool. I cannot wait to hear it. Please, Jaime, feel free to tell me that this is too much of a pain, but I've been looking at the Turkmen musical instruments and wondering if they can be got. They might sound great on my next project. Hope all else is well, and maybe we can catch up soon. Leo. Hey man, I think about you in a dutar, but I thought I'd wait and let you get one yourself when you all come here. But I gotta go as I'm at work and the bell just rang. Love, Jaime. This corresponds with my friend Don Deering, who's a musician, a guitarist, has an encyclopedic knowledge of music. It's incredible. And he had turned me on to Sonny Chirac. So here's some correspondence between Don and myself. Dear Leo, I just broke my thumbnail reaching into my pocket for the phone. Must have been going. Should I bring the Eric Burden autobiography? I'll see you in approximately 63 hours. Safe travels, Don. Hey, Don, I've been so buried I haven't gotten back to you, but you have been on my mind. I figured out how to play the Sonny Chirac tune Blind Willie on the dutar, and it sounded great, although I ran out of frets. I'm planning on bringing my nylon string requinto. Can't wait to see everyone, and it'll be great to see you and catch up. Leo. And finally, my friend and editor, Joe Allen. Longtime friend. I've known Joe Allen for decades. Dear Joe Allen, Anthony Burgess made a list of the best 100 books through the 80s or something like that, and Ridley Walker was on the list. I stumbled across this passage. This is by Russell Hoban from Ridley Walker. It's some kind of thing, it ain't us, but yet it's in us. It's looking out through our eye holes, spelled Hoals. Maybe you don't take no notice of it, only sometimes. Say you get woke up sudden in the middle of the night. 1 minute you're asleep, and the next you're on your feet with a spear in your hand. Well, it weren't you that put that spear in your hand. It were that other thing, what's looking out through your eye holes. It ain't you, nor it don't even know your name. It's in us, lorn and lone and sheltering how it can. Love, Leo. Dear Leo, a mortal carries a suggestion of the memory of sexual union and also the experience of it. The embodied out-of-body experience that elevates human connection. The word is a word of praise, praise of the lover's beauty that can only be pinned, described through exaggeration. Wallace Stevens writes in his poem, Peter Quince at the Clavier, beauty is momentary in the mind, the fitful tracing of a portal, but in the flesh, it is immortal. But Auden, in his love poem, Lullaby, writes, beauty, midnight, vision, dies. Both of these poems are wonderful. Palette word. The lullaby poem is a marvel of syntax. Stevens was one of my favorite poets when I was young. His books fall apart in my hands now. I read them so many times. But the Auden poem moves me to tears. Joe Allen. So all these things converged into my song All Night by the Water, a convergence of silence and flesh and water and arms. So I sing of arms and the men and the women all night by the water.
All land by the water, all land by the water, they're murmuring all night. We're silenced, you and I hold you in these arms, the eye of God glistening in the night. Long ago, in some old song, they washed in the beauty of the stream. Oh, they chimed and chanted low. In the flood, everybody's free. Deep inside the flood, everybody's free. And they'd bring the girls down to the strand to lift their golden hems and sing it low. And there was a wetness in their eyes. The riverbed was churning slow. and the riverbed was churning dark and slow. Hold them by the water, hold them by the water, they're murmuring all night. We are silenced, you and I hold you in the arms, the eye of God glistening in the night. Well, I don't know what it is riding here inside of me, but it's living in my eyes, and it's looking at the sea. Living in my eyes, it's looking at the sea. And all I have and all I want through the long hour of the night, oh, it's your immortal flesh, rarefy us both, set the world aside. Rarefy us both, set heaven and earth aside. Hold Lamb by the water, hold Lamb by the water, they're murmuring all night. We're silence, you and I hold you in these arms, the eye of God glistening in the night. Hold Lamb by the water, hold Lamb by the water, they're murmuring all night. But we are silenced, you and I hold you in these arms, the eye of God glistening in the night.